Welcome, everyone. This is the webinar on Innovative Strategies in Marketing Your Immigration Law Firm. And I have with me one of the most prominent immigration lawyers in the country, certainly someone who has become very renowned in terms of utilizing social media, utilizing cutting edge technology to get his name out there and promote his practice in a very successful way. That is Jacob Sapochnick from the Sapochnick Law Firm in San Diego, California. Jacob, welcome. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us.
Thanks, James, for having me. It's a pleasure.
You're very welcome. So, Jacob, I want to start off, by you telling your story. I mean, some people may know it, some may not, but let us know, how did you get involved in immigration law, and how did you get to the point where you've actually become an influencer? But let's start at the beginning.
So, for me, it's I have the traditional immigrant story, because I went through the whole immigration process myself. I came here as an F1 student to go to law school. I did my master's here. The plan was to come just for a year and a half to get my master's and go back. I lived in England at the time. That's where I got my degree, and I was going to go and practice over there. But after spending a year and a half in California, in San Diego, I decided to stay. And so I had my F1 visa, then I had an OPT where I was working for a law firm as an intern. And that same law firm offered to sponsor my H-1B visa. And remember, this was before 9/11. So things went really fast. I don't think there was a cap at that time for the H-1B. And so I got my H-1B visa. And literally within 6 months, they also sponsored for my green card. And I think I never had really issues with immigration back then. So I got my paperwork, and I worked for that firm for about a year and a half. And I think that towards the end of, one of the things that I didn't like about that firm, I learned immigration, obviously, but I didn't like the way they were treating the customers. I didn't like the way they were conducting their business. So I figured that I maybe, all my ideas that I was presenting to them, they were not accepting. So at some point, I just decided that I'm going to quit, and I quit, and I started my own firm. And at that point, that was before Facebook and social media. But what did exist back then was blogging. And I remember, and I tell this story in a lot of the presentations that I speak before other attorneys and bar associations. I remember that when I opened my firm, when I quit, I had no plan. I quit because I was so frustrated with them that day that I just left with no plan of action, no money saved, nothing. So, and I was spending my days in a coffee shop in San Diego by the beach. Every day I would go there. I had no clients anyway. And one day I was sitting there, and this one guy would come there every morning, and he was so loud on the phone, and he kept talking about blog this and blog that. And I asked him, what is this blog that you talk about? And we became friends, and he helped me build my first blog, which I think to this day was one of the first legal blogs, as far as I know. It's called the Visa Lawyer Blog, which exists to this day. And I started blogging, and again, I had nothing to do. I mean, I literally had no clients. It's been already 5 months into my practice, and I was really about to file an application for a job. And literally somebody calls me and says, we're calling from Fox News, and we want you to be a guest on our evening news tonight for your commentary on the new citizenship changes. And I asked them, how did you find me? And they said, well, I've been reading your blog. And that was kind of like my aha moment with what social media became, where the fact that, you can provide information for free, people will read it, they'll trust you, and then they want to become clients or want to, invite you. And so since then, I appeared in many other media outlets. The blog expanded, and obviously, clients start coming in. But I wanted to expand and do other things. So when Facebook became available for the public, I was one of the first to use the platform to market our services. I think that in 2013, we were the first to get access to Facebook Live, and I got verified back then. And I started doing these lives, and think about it. That's before live was even a thing, right? So the first time we had live, I was one of the beta users of that program, and we had like 6,000 people that came on live because nobody had live, right? And I was like blown away of the idea that you can broadcast to so many people and provide information, and that could be a way for you to educate the public, but also a way to get clients. So since then, I was experimenting with Facebook and Instagram, and recently, since the pandemic started, TikTok has been one of our biggest platforms as well. And so, to summarize it, I think the whole point of using social media is that it's about building communities, right? That's, for me, it's the premise of success on social media and any other platform. If you have a community of people that are tuning in every day to your content, if they are interested in what you have to say, they will start referring people to you every day. And that's much more powerful than paying for advertising and things like that, which we do as well. But it's more about being an authority and being the brand that people can come back to you every single week. And it's not just about clients; it's also about building relationship with other attorneys, with the media. It's really about trying to actually do good by providing information for free and knowing that information will stay out there forever. For example, like I said, YouTube has also been a very strong tool for us, and all these things are coming together now to be to help us to remain at that kind of forefront of what we do. And personally, I enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy creating the videos and providing the information and interacting with the clients, and more than actually practicing the law, the actual, more than actually doing the cases. So, it's interesting to see how it's kind of all expanded, and there's so much opportunities right now. I mean, we just talked in the beginning of when we started is about these new platforms that are coming in, and I'm passionate about testing new ideas and always implementing it, trying to be always kind of the first to do that. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell.
Let me ask you a couple of follow-up questions. Did you have a background in marketing? Did you apply any sort of conventional marketing techniques, or were you just sort of doing something totally different? Did you self-educate?
So that's a good question. So for me, I always like to invest in myself in education. And so what I was doing from early days, I would always sign up for courses and mentors that are not lawyers, right? So I had a few mentors that were marketing business mentors that helped me scale my business. Now, remember that, while I was building my immigration law firm, I had 6 other businesses going at the same time. And I think that helped me kind of get the mindset of what works in, like I had a coffee shop, I had a co-working space, I had a CBD e-commerce company. We were running a video education platform, a podcast. So I had all these different businesses that I was running while having my firm to this day, right? So that helps you get ideas from one business and implement them in another. It gives you creativity and also access to mentors and courses that you learn and implement back to the legal business. So to answer your question, it's always by investing in education and mentors from other areas, and then bringing it back to the legal space and see what works, and then implementing it, and then keep tweaking it to this day.
There's another question. It's a bit of an aside, but I have to ask this. I mean, Israel, for example, you're originally from Israel. They have a very, very well-known startup culture, technology startup culture. Do you feel that influenced you?
Right. So, when I was in Israel, I was in the Air Force. So a lot of my friends who, graduated from the Air Force and remain in Israel, many of them are either own a startup or are involved in a startup. In fact, one of my very close friends in my unit, he was one of the first employees of Waze, the company that, and so, yeah, definitely. There's a lot of, people come from Israel. We always have this instinct of survival, right? How do we build something from nothing, right? And so definitely, I'm sure there is some influence in that. But I think, one of my specialties in immigration is working with investors, startups. We do a lot of the NIWs, O1s. And so to this day, when I work with clients that are building something new, I get inspired for that too. Like, over the years, clients come up with these amazing ideas, and now they are so successful. So I think it's a combination of, I think the biggest thing is about keeping yourself an open mind to learn. Because what I've noticed when I was doing my podcast, and to this day, I have a consulting company that I help other attorneys, not just immigration attorneys, to be able to build their law firms and scale. And when I talk to other attorneys, like I had a conversation with a family attorney the other day, and he was like, well, now, I get no business. I'm get frustrated. I don't know what to do. And what I realized is that the biggest problem that he has is the mindset. His mindset is not focused on growth. His mindset is focused on complaining, on scarcity, on being afraid to try new things. And so I think that's where it comes from. It's really about, no matter what business it is, if it's a law firm or, any other business, you have to really focus on your mindset. You have to delegate, you have to build systems. Our firm, and again, one of the reasons why we like to use Docketwise is because Docketwise integrates with a lot of the tools that we use. And so even before COVID, we were very technology oriented. We have everything automated. We have a lot of our tools scheduled. All our team members have manuals and processes to know how it works. And I give an example, a few of our team members got COVID a few weeks ago, and so they couldn't come to work. So other people were able to jump in because everything is documented. So they know what they do. They know which cases they're working on. Everything is in the notes. So I think if you have a system for everything that you do, there's no reason why you can't build a successful law firm or any other business.
There's been such an enormous revolution in how lawyers promote their services. I mean, if you go back half a century, it was such a completely different world in all respects, but there was no lawyer advertising was even permitted. And then we got to the point where you were able to advertise in print and then on billboards, and gradually, and then with the advent of the internet and social media, now it's all online. I mean, do you find that people have to sort of, let's look at, for example, attorney ethics rules and so forth, had certain ethical rules about advertising and so forth. Do you feel that the legal profession's kept up with sort of where social media is, where the internet is in terms of advertising? Is there ever any friction with sort of the traditional reticence to advertise lawyer services with your view of the most effective way of getting your message out there?
I mean, I think over the years, bar associations in many states definitely adapted in ways of, how lawyers are presenting themselves. It's important to obviously have disclaimers. Whenever we go live, we always have the disclaimer that, we're not your lawyer. All the YouTube videos now have the disclaimer. So I think, definitely there's been they adapted to the fact that lawyers are able to communicate with clients on a live stream as long as they have the disclaimers. The biggest part that is still kind of in a gray area is how lawyers collaborate with non-lawyers. So for example, I was an investor in a company called Simple Citizen, where they developed a product where they automate immigration processing for people that want to do it themselves. So when Simple Citizen launched their product, they spent thousands, they essentially hired an ethics law firm, one of the top law firms in Washington, D.C., to help craft the regulations to make sure that they're not going to have any problems when they launch. In fact, their investors demanded that. And so that is something that still there's an issue. LegalZoom still battles that to this day with some bar ethics. So, but I think, I believe that in the next year or so, or even sooner, you're going to see that is not going to be an issue anymore, because, more and more people are refusing to use attorneys as a full service. They may use them on an unbundled way. Right. They're just going to review their things. Or, I get a lot of cases from Rapid Visa every single day. And they say, well, Rapid Visa did my case, but I'm stuck right now. Well, you're stuck because you need an attorney to help you navigate the system. You need an attorney to advocate with the U.S. Embassy. Rapid Visa cannot do that. They can help you in the first step. Maybe you save, $500, but you're going to have to pay now to an attorney to go in there and start reviewing your file. And maybe they find a mistake. So, it's good to have the option for people to have technology and for attorneys to be able to market themselves in a way that is creative, as long as you don't, cross the line in the sense that, if you go on a live stream and you start promising things, if you solicit clients by sending them automated DMs. So those are the things that the Bar Association are not happy about, and most attorneys are not doing it. But there are different ways to do it. So you can have people reach out to you, so you don't have to solicit. So you use a bot where we have a bot on our website where somebody, the first time somebody comes to our website, they get an option to go through a quiz, or they want a consultation right away, or they want to get a guide to read a little bit before they want to engage with us. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Nobody's actually soliciting people and DMing them and engaging with them. So there are different ways to do it. I think bar associations and ethics rules are definitely adapting right now because they know there's no other way. Sometimes we can't meet clients in person anymore. Sometimes we have to do things like that. And I think that attorneys that are embracing that and are willing to take the risk a little bit to kind of be on the borderline, they'll be rewarded. Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the consulting business. It's Enchanting Lawyers. Do I have the name correct?
Right.
And what all are the services that you offer, and how did why did you decide to actually branch out and start the consulting business?
So, I had my podcast, The Enchanting Lawyer, was running from 2014 through 2017, I think, or 18. We had over 120 episodes, and I was interviewing people that are not just attorneys. I had, Michael Gerber, the author. We had John Asseroff from The Secret. We had a lot of people, Lee Steinberg. And I wanted to interview people that are not necessarily attorneys, but they're high achievers in their space, and find out how they became successful and implement that connected with lawyers. And when I did the podcast, I get a lot of attorneys who were listening to it, and they were reaching out and asking me for advice. And so I decided to create a program where I will be working one-on-one with a few attorneys, and I had a small group. And most of these attorneys I was working with were personal injury attorneys. They were family lawyers. I had a few immigration attorneys as well. But a lot of personal injury attorneys are getting into a state of mind of anxiety because they have all this competition. They compare themselves to other attorneys. They feel that they're not enough in what they do. And there's just a lot of confusion. They don't know how to build a structured law firm with systems. They don't know how to essentially detach themselves from the firm. I had an attorney that has been practicing for 27 years. He was doing family law, immigration, and criminal law. And in 27 years, he only took 4 vacations. Can you imagine, James? 4 vacations in 27 years. And I said, listen, I don't care what we're going to do in this consultation, but I'm going to force you to take a vacation, and you're going to follow this. So we had a 30-day plan where I helped them build a system. He hired 4 people to be able to take over certain things. And he brought in a part-time associate, and he left his firm for a week. And I remember when they came back from vacation, his wife called me, and she was crying on the phone for like 30 minutes. She was sobbing. And she said that this was the best thing that they ever did. And ever since then, this guy changed completely, because not only he stopped practicing like crazy, but his business quadrupled because he was able to take on more consultations. He was able to come up with more ideas. He was able to move to a new office space. You know what I mean? So the point is that he was a successful attorney already. He was making a lot of money, but he wasn't happy. He was sick. His relationship was affected. So the point is that no matter what area of law you practice, you can be successful. I mean, people say, if you're a personal injury attorney, you can make a lot of money. Well, you can make a lot of money in immigration too. Trust me, there are a lot of immigration attorneys who are very successful, who make a lot of money. They travel the world. Before COVID, I was literally traveling every other month. I was in 11 countries in 2019. Mm-hmm. And half of those trips were for work. I was speaking in Colombia for EB5 conference. I was representing a client at the US Embassy in Hong Kong. I was doing 4 e-visa interviews in Europe, Brussels, France, Germany, and Rome. And of course, I was traveling, I did my work, and I was able to combine it with travel. I went to the Maldives. So this was possible because I built a system in my firm that allowed me to leave and not be there every single day, right? So it is possible if you think about it. If you think of your firm as a business, if you think about it as something that is not just a business, but it's a business that can provide you with amazing opportunities. Like, think about it. In immigration, we meet so many amazing clients, right? These people are coming from all over the world. They're building amazing businesses. And for us as immigration attorneys, we have to reflect that. So if I want to attract clients that are business people, that are influencers, that are high achievers, we have to behave the same way. They have to come to us and see that we are also successful, that we also do the right things, and we have the same mindset to be able to provide those services. So for me, that was always my goal, to be able to detach myself from the law firm and do other things that I enjoy, which is traveling and meeting interesting people.
So one of us, it's like the saying goes, if you don't run the practice will run you. But
Right.
let's talk about two important topics substantively. I want to talk about cultivating a brand image. I've heard you say that it doesn't matter that other people are doing the same kind of work that you're doing. You're you and they're them, and clients are going to be attracted to you for who you are. So how do you cultivate a brand image? What would be your thoughts on that? And how do you set marketing goals?
So, I think a brand image is something that is really important for any law firm. And I'll tell you why. Because, as you know, there's so many attorneys in the United States for any practice area. So for you to be able to be remembered by clients, you have to have some kind of a brand. So whether you are, doing something very interesting on LinkedIn or YouTube or in your community, it is important to build a brand that people will remember who you are, and they're going to be able to always come back to it when they need you, right? So branding is key, because you don't want to be just another so-and-so in associates, right? You want to be known as the lawyer who does this, like So for me, I wanted to become a brand, not because I intentionally wanted to. It just happened to be because I was so visible, right? So for me, the San Diego immigration lawyer brand on Instagram and all the other platforms was a brand that is consistent with giving away free information, with educating clients, with being able to be available for in the media. If somebody wanted to get a take on some kind of a law change, they were always able to find me because I was everywhere. So branding for me was key, because I wanted to be remembered and I wanted to be found by. So my approach was just be everywhere. That was my approach. I have to be everywhere, because that's the only way for me to be found and remembered. And my brand was the San Diego immigration lawyer brand, which is, my colors. My colors are gray, white, and blue. It's always consistent throughout the brand, and also the messaging everywhere. So that was the key in terms of trying to be everywhere. It's kind of like omnipresence. You can't just be on Facebook. You really have to try to be everywhere. So that was my approach. It doesn't mean it has to work for everybody, but in my case, it worked well, because everybody told me, "Oh, I've seen you there. I've seen you there. You're everywhere. You're on Google. You have so many reviews. So the idea was that we have to be so present, so everybody will see us and they'll feel that we are the firm for them to work with. Now, in terms of, you said marketing goals, you said how to set up marketing goals.
Yeah, I mean, how should you think about how to set marketing goals?
I think the way I see it, it really depends on what stage of your firm you're in right now. So if you're just starting out, you launch your firm, yesterday. I think it's important to be mindful of your budget, right? So I think if I were just starting out, I would choose one or two platforms, focus on video. So right now I would focus mostly on TikTok and YouTube. If I started out my firm like today, I would go out and do videos on YouTube and TikTok every single day. And the reason is because this is where all the audience is found right now. Now, it's not easy to make videos, obviously. And so, but think about it. If you're going to spend money to market your firm, Facebook ads or Google ads, it's going to cost you a lot of money to make a dent in 2021, unfortunately. So I'm not saying it's not possible. You can.
Well, let's drill down. Sorry, let me just pause you, because I want to drill down a little bit. So let's say, for example, if we have either a solo or a small firm from 1 to 5 lawyers in the firm, solo or small firm, what would you think in terms of a reasonable marketing budget? What should they be thinking about if they're just getting into this?
So I would do this. Everybody has a website, right? So everybody has a website that should get some traffic, if they start. So what I would do is I would set up their Facebook pixel on their website and start remarketing to the people that already visit the website. So people may visit your website from search. They can visit your website from the fact that you announced that you just opened your law firm. And by doing remarketing, this is the most effective kind of advertising money, because you essentially market to the people that already found your website. They may be interested in you, but they're not ready to buy yet. And so these are not cold audience. So I would basically put pixels on all your digital media that is available for you to do remarketing. And that's the best money spent on paid ads. That's what we do. We remarket everywhere. I don't do any cold ads anymore because we don't need to do it anymore. But we still pay ads for remarketing. So we remarket people who come to our YouTube channel. We remarket people who come to our Facebook pages. We remarket people who come to our blogs. We have 2 blogs. I remarket people who come to our TikTok. So remarketing is a form of advertising that essentially brings people back to you by showing them your ads because they came to see you once. And so that's what I would do. And that's very, very effective. But
is
definitely
Facebook or mostly through Facebook, or in what way does it take place? Is it done through a cookie that gets installed?
So it's a pixel, right? It's a Facebook pixel, and you can do a pixel that you put it on your website. You can also do remarketing for YouTube. There's also kind of a widget there that you can put, and when you do YouTube ads, you essentially remarket people who came already to your website, and they can see your ads now on YouTube. And again, you don't have to do it yourself. You can just find somebody who knows how to do this. I'm not doing it myself, obviously. I've got somebody who's doing it, but I understand the concept behind it. So the idea is that people already came to visit you once. You don't want to lose them. You want to keep staying in front of them. And the second thing that I would do is I would invest money in text marketing. So we are very heavy into text marketing. So whenever somebody is getting in touch with our office, either through email or through phone call, we get their phone number and we start text messaging them. We get their permission, of course. They have the first text says, do you give us permission to send you information? Once they say yes, they start getting a text message every other day. News alerts, YouTube, new video come out, new thing, new that. Also people that consult with us, they did a consultation with our office, they didn't retain us. They enter into a text funnel where they get text message every other day. You talked to Jacob the other day. Do you have more questions? Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. So those 2 things are not very expensive. And I would say that if you're just starting out with $3,500 a month, you can achieve all these goals by doing remarketing and text marketing and creating some basic videos. That should be enough for first 6 months to start generating some basic leads that will generate clients. So you'll be able to cover those $3,500 and make more money to start thinking about other things you can do, which will cost you more money.
Let me ask you a question about TikTok, because I was intrigued. I mean, how effective do you find TikTok? You obviously think it's effective. You're doing a lot of it, and for some people, especially people who may be a little older and so forth, they may think of TikTok, if they've heard of it, they may think of it as something that teenagers use to post music and things like that. But how do you use TikTok, first of all, in your
yeah, I'm actually because I get so many questions about TikTok, we're actually launching a course. It's going to come out hopefully the end of September. It's a TikTok course for attorneys, and I'm going to cover a lot of things in that course. But essentially what TikTok is and why I find it so fascinating is, and I started using it about a year ago during the pandemic, is that unlike Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, it doesn't matter how many followers you have on TikTok. Your videos can be shown to anybody as long as they're interesting. And so, for example, you can have 500 followers, and your video will do well, and suddenly 1 million people will see it. So the power of TikTok is that what I do is I have a link in my bio on TikTok, which sends them to a consultation page. And it's a short consultation. It's $150 that we do. But the thing is, because so many people find us on TikTok, typically all our consultations are filled every single day from people that come from TikTok. Not just me, of course. We have 6 other people at the firm that do the consultations, but we get filled every single day by people that are coming from TikTok interested in questions. So remember, they're not just kids. They're the parents of the kids. There are people in there. I would say that the demographics of TikTok users right now that see my videos are people the ages of 30 to 55. And those are the people that are either, and I give an example. I just posted a video 4 days ago. And this was a video that I said, so one of my clients was coming back from Europe. She was coming back. She's on her renewal of her conditional green card. She was coming back to the airport in Chicago, and she was on her phone, and the officer told her to stop talking on the phone, and she didn't see the officer. And then he came to her. He was annoyed, and he said, "You're going to secondary." She went to secondary. In secondary, they went through her phone, and they determined that she had some sort of a relationship with somebody else who is not her husband. I don't know how they determined that, but that was their opinion. At that moment, they questioned her for 5 hours. They revoked her green card, and they sent her they gave her a parole, so she has to appear before a hearing. And I described that video on TikTok. Within 2 days, this video had more than 1.5 million views, 4,000 comments. Think about it. 4,000 comments, 1.4 million people saw that video. And I put a comment and said, if you need to talk about your case, send me a link, send me a DM on that link. 6 people in my firm were working on that one video to be able to man all the comments and schedule the consultations from that one video. We were able to get 170 consultations. Each consultation is $150. And so far, we already closed about 15 cases. One video, right? And that's
incredible.
TikTok. So I'm telling you. So again, it doesn't happen every day, obviously, that you have a video that reaches 1 million, but it did happen a few days ago. So I'm just telling you that it is a very powerful platform. There are already a lot of immigration attorneys on TikTok, but not as many as you would expect. So I counted at least 40 attorneys or immigration attorneys on TikTok, but it's 40. There are billion users on TikTok, right? Think about it. So the opportunity is still there. And I definitely think that it's the next big thing.
Incredible. Definitely looking forward to that course. Let me talk a little bit more about website UI, user interface, user experience. You touched on this a little bit. You said that, the color scheme in all of your productions is very consistent, blue, white, gray. I want to talk about, in terms of substantively in designing an immigration lawyer website. I mean, how important is text versus, video? If you've even done a little bit of research into marketing, that keywords and text content, long text content, long blog articles are very important for SEO. But how about your balance between text and video? Is video is obviously extremely important, but how to think about this in terms of your content? How do you want to balance your content?
So, we keep experimenting with what we do on our website. I mean, I think we definitely have some videos on there. But one of the things that is important for a website in 2021 is 2 things. First thing, you must have some sort of interactive bot that is not just a regular bot, but it's a bot that allows people who come on your website to immediately do something so they don't leave. So in our case, like I said, they're sent to choose if they want to go into a consultation, if they want to get some content, or if they need or if they're just browsing, or at least leave us their email address. So it's really important to have some kind of interaction. The second thing, maybe some kind of a quiz. We have a quiz at the top of our website. People can go and see if they qualify for any benefit. This just allows them to stay longer on your website and maybe see some of the benefits that you can offer. But it's really important to have something like that to grab their attention, because people are not going to stay on your website unless they find something useful. Of course, SEO and keywords and things like that are important. It's still important as well as it used to be 5-10 years ago. But right now, what we focus on is having those interactive tools and give them more opportunities to leave their data. So we have contact us in red in the beginning. Throughout the pages, we have ways for them to contact us in a very easy way. I see so many attorney websites. Like I was talking to another attorney the other day, and we did an audit of his website. And he had a beautiful website, but I'm like, how do people contact you? I tried and I couldn't find a way to contact him. His phone number was hidden. There was no easy way to just click and reach out. He had a beautiful website, nice video, very flowing, but to reach him was impossible. So, it's important to be able to make it easy for people to reach you, and also, of course, make it very easy for them to find you on mobile. Because a lot of websites are working well on desktop, but they're not really good on mobile. So I think that's, it's less about, but honestly, I'm telling you that I find that websites are less important these days than having your other platforms. Like if you have, people will check you not just on your website. They'll look at your LinkedIn, they'll look at your Instagram. So it's important to have a balance between a website and all the others. If you have a good website and you have nothing on social media, it's going to look a little bit awkward. So
let's go back to our example of our 1 to 5 lawyer firm here. Do you think that they need to hire professional web designers, or can you actually do it yourself?
So, I think you should have a designer that understands. It doesn't have to be a very expensive designer. I found really good talent on Upwork. The reason you want to have somebody customize your website is because you want to make sure that all the features that you need should be there, to make sure that it's easy to plug in SEO into your website. A lot of these custom Squarespace and these other tools that are available out there, they are good, but I feel like in terms of building and expanding your website in the future is going to be harder to do that with something that is custom like that. So I would definitely hire somebody to build it, maybe like on WordPress or any other tool that is easier to expand it as you grow. You can invest more money to make it more powerful. But I personally don't like those ready-made tools, even if you're just starting out. A good website will cost you about $4,000, and it's worth the investment.
Okay. Jacob, we have a couple of questions, and I want to just answer these before we go into more topics. So someone here has asked, do you offer other tools to close the customer, like payment plans? I mean, what do you think about this? Do you rely on offering payment plans as a tool for closing a customer?
So that's a good question. And that comes to, so what I've done a couple of years ago, we hired basically internally, in-house, we trained immigration salespeople. So they are basically case managers that all they do, they spend time on the phone to speak with prospective clients. They don't give legal advice. What they do is they understand the situation, and then they schedule the consultation with the attorney. And then after the consultation, they will call back the person and say, hey, you spoke to Jacob. What's going to happen with your case? Are you interested do you want to start the case, or you need more time? So the salespeople that we work with that are part of our firm, they are the ones that have instructions to sometimes give payment plans to clients, and we can easily do that through Clio or things like that, or break it down into a couple of payments. But if somebody wants a payment plan, I mean, there's no problem with that. I mean, we're happy to do that. But I think the key to increasing your sales output is to actually train somebody that understands immigration and is able to help you sell and knows how to sell. It shouldn't be the attorney selling. It shouldn't be your paralegal. It should be somebody who's trained in the art of sales to do that the right way, which includes presenting the problem, following up, and closing the deal. And that made a huge difference in our bottom line in the past 2 years.
Yeah, I think that's very important. I want to underline that as well. I mean, having specific sales training where you think about what the potential customers, pain points are, what their problem is, how you're offering the solution, and try to get them across the finish line. There's an art to that, and it's something that they don't teach in law school. So you should have people who are
Right.
well versed in it. Next question, someone's asked, where can they go to register for the TikTok training and find out the details of the time and date for that?
So the TikTok training is going to be a course that is going to be offered. It's not released yet. We're finishing the details. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my Instagram account at the end. It's basically at San Diego Immigration Lawyer. That's my Instagram. And you can send me a direct message saying that you attended this webinar, and I'll send you the details when our course will be launched. At San Diego Immigration Lawyer on Instagram.
All right, great. And then the next question that we have, let me just get back here. How did you find the salespeople? Are there training courses you recommend?
How do we find the sales? Well, so we worked with, we went through a lot of trial and error. So I put some ads in Indeed, and we worked with a sales trainer to train them on sales. And then obviously we trained them on immigration, but we went through, it took me almost a year to find the right people that, so we work with a few companies that helped us with the sales training and things like that. And to this day, I still work with a few consultants to help me with, different, training strategies, but it's like any other job. You interview them, you have to try them. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you replace them. But I think it's definitely made a big difference in our in the way we close our business.
And one of the other attendees here has asked a question, which is I'm going to interpret the question a little bit, but they're asking, isn't it the attorney's job? I mean, in terms of, how you're supposed to practice as an attorney, isn't it the attorney's job to explain personally to the client the representation, the scope of the representation, and the terms and the fees and so forth. Are those things that you're delegating to the sales?
No. So the attorney, like I mentioned, the attorney is the one who does the consultation. At the consultation, the attorney will go over the terms of the contract. We say, this is how it is. The salesperson's job is to follow up mainly. So they follow up and say, you've spoken to Jacob, he told you that it's going to cost so and so. You saw the agreement already. Do you have any other questions about how we work? So they don't get into legal terms. They will, if they have questions about the contract, the salesperson will answer what they know, and whatever they can't answer, they will, send a message to the attorney, and the attorney will clarify that. But their goal essentially is to follow up and make sure that they give them the attention they need, because the attorney doesn't really have time to do that.
Right.
It's better if somebody else does it after the attorney gave them all the pertinent information that they need in terms of the contract, the terms, the legal issues. The salesperson's job is kind of like to finalize the deal for them, to help them with that.
And somebody's asking a detail here. Do you make it like a traditional sales department? Do you offer bonuses or incentives for your salespeople when they successfully get the client back after following up?
Right. So essentially, it's kind of like they have like a reward system where if somebody is able to help close so and so, they'll get like just like any paralegal, that we give them bonuses because they worked on so many cases. It's the same thing. It's not a percentage. It's mostly just a bonus based on performance that they get at the end of every quarter, just like any other employee. If somebody was able to follow up more, if somebody was able to, help attorneys close more, so they'll get a bonus based on their performance. It's not, that's how it works.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different than a regular sales, but it's definitely, they have an incentive to close more because they can get more bonuses.
All right, let's talk. I want to go onto a topic that I wanted to go a little bit deeper into. So did you say that you feel that the traditional, like the Google AdWords and the organic SEO, how would you weight that in terms of importance versus the social media? Because those are sort of like two things that we're balancing here, and how to devote our time and resources to. What weight would you give to one versus the other personally?
So in terms of
importance,
in terms of doing the work and the marketing side?
Yes.
So, I think it really depends on everybody differently, because if you're a sole practitioner, let's say you by yourself and you have you're one attorney and you have two paralegals, obviously you have to be able to work to be able to produce the actual work and then also do the marketing, right? So if somebody is by themselves and they don't have other team members to do the work as an attorney, then you need to kind of set maybe an hour a day to do marketing. Maybe do that after work, after you finish with the actual work time. Because again, that it's important, because that will continue feeding your clients. It's almost essential to do it, even though some attorneys don't like to do it because it's annoying and they prefer to do their work on the cases. It is essential, just like eating lunch or going to sleep, right? If you're not going to invest in consistent marketing, you're not going to have a practice to come back to. So as you start expanding and you get another associate and you have more time, you'll be able to do more of what you like. Like in my case, I enjoy more the marketing side as opposed to the legal work. So I'll do consultations. I'll do, obviously I meet with the managing attorneys at the firm and we discuss all the cases and the planning. But I'd rather do less research and writing and then do more of the market. That's me personally. So you have to understand who you are and see how you are as a person, and then balance that to make sure that it meets the requirements of your firm, to make sure you get enough business and you're still okay and not stressed.
Now, you've talked a lot about the importance of Facebook and TikTok. Let's talk about the importance of some of the other social media platforms. So how effective have you found Twitter? And then following up on that, in terms of LinkedIn, what would be your best tips for using LinkedIn? Because I think it's underutilized by a lot of immigration lawyers. But the thing is, how do you feel about LinkedIn specifically for if you're reaching out to consumers? I can see if you're doing business immigration, people might sort of understand how you would use LinkedIn more, because it tends to be more of a B2B tool. But can you use LinkedIn effectively if your services are being marketed to the consumers at large?
Absolutely. I mean, LinkedIn is a very powerful platform as well. And one of the common things between LinkedIn and TikTok is that right now you get a lot of free reach on LinkedIn. So if you start posting consistently, you can get a lot more people to see your content and engage with you without paying for anything. So in that respect, LinkedIn and TikTok are very similar right now, because there's a lot of you can really go and build an audience fast on LinkedIn than any other platform right now, because they just encourage the organic reach. I personally don't like LinkedIn. I'm not excited about it. I do it. Obviously, we post videos in there. We post, different things. I just don't like it personally. It just, it's not exciting to me. And so I do it less personally, but we still have a strategy of posting there and engaging with people. And we've done a marketing campaign, a paid ads campaign on LinkedIn, where we're trying to get clients for business cases. That was working very well. LinkedIn ads are very effective right now, and they're cheaper than Facebook ads and other ads out there. So, definitely you can do it. And I think that if you're not a business attorney and you want to do family, there are people, everybody's on LinkedIn. So somebody can see your post and you posted about a story of asylum, and they can relate to it and they can refer your business because they know you do asylum. So LinkedIn is about eyeballs. So if you post on LinkedIn, no matter what you do in immigration, you'll get the audience. So I definitely think that if you're not doing LinkedIn and you think you will enjoy it, I think you should try it.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Now, Twitter is a bit different, because Twitter, you're really limited in the number of characters and the length of the videos that you can post. So what would be your best tips for using Twitter?
So the way I use Twitter, again, I don't use it as much as I used to, but the way I use Twitter is mostly for sharing news, but also mostly connecting with media. So I've got a lot of reporters that I'm connected with on Twitter. And what I'll do, I'll send them a private message and I'll tell them, hey, there's a story idea that I think you'll be interested in. Let me know if you want to talk about it. And I give them a little bit of a snippet. So what I do on Twitter is mostly I do a lot of connections with reporters. There are quite a few immigration attorneys that are very active on Twitter, like Greg Siskind and others. And they use it predominantly to spread information, and they get a lot of clients from it. But for me, it's mostly to build my relationship with media, because all the reporters are on Twitter. And so again, it's not, I'm not excited about it as I used to, but it's still a very good tool to build your name out there. If you want to get press, if you want to be able to feature in the media, Twitter is one of the best ways to connect with reporters. You start following them, you comment on their stuff, and eventually they will, they will invite you to comment on their stories and maybe use you as a resource.
So you see a news article and you think of something worthwhile to say about it, and you tweet that at the reporter. And there you put yourself in front of the reporter and you put your reaction out there for the public to see.
Correct. And you do it on a consistent basis. They'll start seeing you as a person of value. You don't ask them anything for a while. You just provide value, and they will start reaching out to you. I mean, that's kind of how I built a lot of my media relationship, by posting commentary on Twitter, and then they will, hey, so remember you commented my stuff. What do you think about this case? You know what I mean? So it's a question of time, but it's not going to be a client generator tool. It's more about building a relationship with other professionals and the media.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. We have some questions here from the audience. Someone asked, can you explain how you use the monthly subscriptions and the lifetime memberships to your immigration law practice, and what does the client receive in return for the subscription?
Okay, so I think what they're asking is so we built an immigration membership platform. It's called Immigration U. It was released about 4 months ago. And what Immigration U basically is, we offer a monthly membership or a lifetime membership where somebody pays a flat rate and they have access. The platform consists of video tutorials. We have a lot of videos about different immigration areas. We have case samples. We have the biggest advantage of this platform is that the members are getting a weekly Zoom call with an attorney. One of our attorneys, Shelly, is in charge of that. And so every week, members can go in and ask any question they want in a secure platform on Zoom about their case. Some of them have attorneys, some of them they're doing it themselves. And so they're getting this access to an attorney for a very low cost. And we're going to add other tools like a private texting tool that members can text an attorney during the week and ask questions through text, or exclusive offers through text. So Immigration U is in beta right now. We're testing the different features. And so far it's been really successful, and I'm hoping to expand it to more people. But the advantage of doing this membership for any immigration attorney is that you build passive income. So all these members that are there, they're paying a monthly rate, and that helps you balance your cash flow in your low months. If sometimes you don't have enough clients in a month, if you have a membership platform, you're able to generate a steady cash flow because there's no limit to how many members you can get in there. So that's how we do it.
Jacob, why don't we use that as an opportunity to talk about the NFT, the non-fungible token that you wanted to talk about?
Right. So we talked about it in the beginning. So as you know, I'm always trying different things. And right now I'm very passionate about NFTs, non-fungible tokens, which are basically, it's a technology that is based on the blockchain, on the Ethereum blockchain. So essentially you can designate pieces of art or videos, or essentially you can even do, you can sell a statement or a product or an article. You put it on the blockchain, and what happens is that we're building a community, a parallel community on Discord and on Telegram of people that are interested in that particular technology. And what happens is if they buy one of our NFTs, they get rewarded with either lifetime access to an attorney or reduced discounted access to services. It's really interesting for people that are, for example, undocumented. These people that are undocumented may be scared to reach out to an attorney in public. They may be scared to talk to an attorney on the first place, just because they don't trust anybody. But when they use the blockchain technology, they are essentially anonymous. When they purchase the token, now they have access to an attorney because they are now part of our community, and they can start talking about their cases. Now we have right now a client that is bidding on one of our NFTs, and he's somebody that has a successful business, been here for 20 years, and nobody knows he's undocumented. And this is the first time he reached out to an attorney because he felt it was a safe way to speak with somebody, because there's no, it's anonymous. I don't know. I cannot reach out to him unless he wants me to be able to find him. You know what I mean? So NFTs is an amazing new platform that is very complicated right now to create, because you have to go through a bunch of hoops. But I feel that it's going to be the future of how people are going to protect their assets, protect their imagine you create a video that you want it to be unique, a video that I explain how to immigrate to the United States. The video is not shared anywhere online, but I'm building an NFT with the video where I share the most 10 secrets that I learned in my 20-year career. You know what I mean? So it's an evolving platform, but the idea behind it, it's another way to build communities, just like we build the membership platform, just like we build our Facebook groups. It's all about communities. If you have a community, you're marketing to people that only talk to you. There's no competition. And that's really where I think the future of immigration law is, in building communities that are dedicated to you as the main immigration attorney.
Mm-hmm. Now, someone's asked a question I think I can answer. For the text marketing, does the authorization to receive text have to be in writing, or is verbal enough? The way that usually works is they get a first text and it asks them whether they consent to receive additional text. So it's a kind of a drip, we call it a drip campaign, where the way that the person behaves with the first message determines the sequence of subsequent messages that they receive. Right.
Now, I see some people, they want to know, they have questions, that are specific. Again, if you are watching this webinar right now, I encourage you to just send me a DM on Instagram. It will be the best way to reach me, and I'll promise to answer you at San Diego Immigration Lawyer.
San Diego Immigration Lawyer on Instagram.
Also, search my name on Instagram and you'll find me there. And just send a DM, and I'm happy to answer your questions and see what we can do. There's quite a few young attorneys here who are asking questions about how to make content, how to start marketing, and all that kind of stuff. So I think those are helpful. I mean, we can talk about this forever, right? There's so many things we can talk about.
Right. Let's go on to our next topic. So we have just a couple of minutes. I do want to talk about what, in terms of keeping track of key performance indicators. So you have to evaluate how your marketing is going. So what would be your main KPIs or key performance indicators that you want to look at, and how often do you want to sort of look back and see how you're doing? Should it be monthly or what have you? Some KPIs that people commonly track include their conversion rate. What percentage of people who go onto their website or contact them eventually become a client. That would be your conversion rate, your percentage. or the total number of conversions. You may want to track your cost per conversion. You may want to track the total number of leads. These are the kind of things that I mean, Jacob. What would be some KPIs that you would track and how often?
So yeah, obviously these are some of the ones that we track as well. We also track to see how many people that are coming to our website and are in our chat. We have a lot of people that are engaging in conversation in the chat. We're tracking to see how many of those people actually become clients organically without being prompted to set up a consultation. So that's one thing that we do through our intercom chat. It actually gives us statistics to see how many of these people actually engage in a consultation. We track what happens when we do any of our webinars. We do a lot of webinars that are automated webinars. So we track conversions of those webinars, how many people are became clients. What we do on a weekly basis, we compare our marketing budget and see how much money we spend, let's say, on YouTube ads, and how many of these leads were entered into our funnel and how many of them actually became clients. We do that on a weekly basis. And the reason is because sometimes when you do a campaign and it doesn't work well, you may spend a lot of money and you waste all this budget on something that didn't work. And all you have to do is tweak it a little bit and change it. So with ads like on Google and on YouTube, we track it every week, and Facebook as well, because those things are really important. And though one more thing we track is our referrals. We have a lot of people that refer clients to us and attorneys that refer, and we have tools to track those referrals. Those are being tracked on a bi-weekly basis, because what we do is when somebody refers as a client, we have to send them an immediate referral fee or a gift or whatever that is, the thing we do. And so it's important to keep track of that. And we do that with our financial CFO that does all the numbers, and we provides a report, like a dashboard, that we can see our expenses, marketing, conversions, Google ads, all the things that we do.
Jacob, why don't we have you bring up, if you want to, we can have you share your screen just for a moment and bring up your Instagram so that people can actually see where they should contact you.
Let me see here. Okay, let me just share my screen.
All right, so he's at San Diego Immigration Lawyer on Instagram, and he'll answer any other questions that we didn't get to. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We're at the end of the hour, and the video of today's webinar will be available for viewing if you came in late or something like that, or you want to view it again. Let's give a big thanks to Jacob Sapochnick, who is our guest today of San Diego. And Jacob, thanks again for taking the time. This has been extremely useful, and I'm sure our users have gotten a lot out of it. We're going to have you back. So I thank you. I thank you very much.
I appreciate it. It was a pleasure. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Thank you.